Most people think that when someone attacks them, the natural response is to defend themselves immediately. We feel compelled to explain, justify, or even argue our side. But Niccolo Machiavelli, the master of power, politics, and human psychology, has a counterintuitive strategy. Never defend yourself. Because every time you defend, you give away your power. Over the next, I'm going to walk you through why defending yourself actually weakens your position, and how you can take control of any situation using only your words, silence, and subtle psychological strategies. The trap of defending. When someone criticizes you, insults you, or spreads a rumor, the instinctive reaction is to jump in and defend yourself. It's almost automatic. You feel the need to prove that you're right, to set the record straight. But here's the catch. The moment you defend, you're acknowledging that the accusation matters. Even if it's false, your defense gives it weight in the eyes of others. You move from a position of power into a defensive posture, and suddenly, the other person sets the agenda. Think about it. How often have you seen someone get dragged into a debate, defending themselves endlessly while the attacker stays calm and controlled? Every word you say in defense, you lose a little more influence. Imagine a colleague spreads a rumor that you're not trustworthy. Your first thought is, I have to clear my name. You start explaining, giving reasons, proving yourself. Meanwhile, the rumor has already planted a seed in people's minds. And the colleague? They remain relaxed, in control, even enjoying the drama. Pause 2 seconds for effect. This is the trap of defending. It feels natural to fight back, but psychologically, you've handed over the power to someone else. Machiavelli's insight. Machiavelli teaches that power is rarely about brute force. Real power comes from psychology, perception, and control of the narrative. When you defend yourself, you give the other person a stage. When you don't, you force them to reveal their own weaknesses. He who defends himself admits the accusation has weight. Think about that phrase. If you stop reacting, stop explaining, and just observe, you flip the situation. Suddenly, the attacker is the one under pressure trying to justify themselves while you remain calm and composed. Silence isn't just absence of speech. It's a tool. It's a way of saying, without words, your attack has no power over me. And people notice. Others watch how you respond, and a calm, collected presence commands respect. How to flip the power. So how do you turn the tables? Here are some practical techniques. First, silent power. The most powerful response is often no response at all. When someone attacks you, pause, breathe, and don't rush to defend yourself. Let the silence speak louder than words. Second, redirect. Shift the focus of the conversation. Don't engage in defending, but instead guide the discussion elsewhere. Ask a question, bring up another topic, or highlight a bigger issue. You change the energy and regain control. Third, question back. This is subtle, but highly effective. When someone makes a claim, instead of defending, ask, "Why would you think that?" Or, "What makes you say that?" You make them justify their statement and reveal their own weaknesses. Consider a politician facing a false accusation. Instead of defending themselves, they respond with a calm, "Why do you believe that?" Immediately, the attacker is on the defensive, fumbling for answers, while the politician stays composed, confident, and in control. Pause 2 seconds for effect. These techniques seem simple, but in practice, they are extremely powerful. They shift the dynamic, making the aggressor reveal their insecurities and giving you the upper hand without saying a single defensive word. Real-life, historical examples. History offers countless examples of this principle in action. Napoleon Bonaparte, for instance, often remained silent under criticism and political attacks. By not reacting, he forced his opponents to over-explain, expose themselves, and appear desperate. Steve Jobs, too, rarely defended himself publicly. Criticism came, but he would redirect, refocus, or simply stay calm. His silence and confidence made him appear in control, powerful, and untouchable. Even in ordinary life, the principle holds. Imagine a workplace situation where someone criticizes your work unfairly. The first instinct might be to argue or defend yourself. But if you instead remain calm, ask questions, or redirect the conversation, you appear stronger and in control. People respect composure more than justification. Pause 2 to 3 seconds for reflection. The psychology behind it. Why does this work psychologically? Humans are wired to notice reaction. When someone attacks us and we respond, the focus is on us and our emotional response. Our energy, frustration, or defensiveness becomes the center of attention. But when we stay silent, ask a simple question, or redirect, the attacker's focus shifts. They start overthinking, justifying themselves, and revealing vulnerability. The power dynamic flips. The attacker becomes vulnerable, and you become the observer, the calm one in control. Power is not in proving your point. Power is in controlling perception and controlling the situation without expending unnecessary energy. Step-by-step implementation. So how can you use this in real life? Follow these steps. Stay silent first. Resist the urge to speak immediately. Take a deep breath. Calm your mind. Control your emotions. Anger, frustration, or panic only give the other person leverage. Use a subtle question, a calm comment, or even a strategic smile to maintain composure. Redirect the focus to the situation or the other person. Don't argue, guide the conversation. Listen actively. Let the other person speak, justify, and reveal themselves. You are not in a defensive fight, you are observing and controlling. Pause 2 seconds between each step for emphasis. Practical everyday scenarios. In daily life, this can be applied anywhere. In meetings, if someone criticizes your ideas, pause, ask clarifying questions, or highlight another perspective. In social situations, when someone spreads gossip, remain calm, ask neutral questions, or change the topic. Even small acts of composure create a perception of power. Over time, this approach trains you to respond strategically instead of reactively. It builds confidence, authority, and respect. Conclusion. Outro. Remember this key lesson: power is not in defending yourself. Power is in calm, controlled intelligence. When you stop defending, you control the game. Machiavelli's trick is simple but profound. Never defend yourself. Let others reveal their weakness. The next time someone attacks you, pause, observe, ask a question, and reclaim the power effortlessly. Pause for effect. Slower tone for final sentence. Silence, strategy, and composure. These are the tools of true power.